Guys, what is going on? I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are staying safe. So Salman, unbelievable stuff here. Absolute shocker. George Kambosos decisioning Teofimo Lopez in what was an absolute cracker of a fight. Unbelievable stuff. Lost for words. Teofimo going down in the first round. Teofimo dropping George Kambosos in the 10th round. You know, Kambosos looked like he was outboxing Teofimo, faster, quicker, great defense. What did you make of the fight?
Yeah, so actually in the first round when Teofimo just ran at Kambosos, I was just a bit surprised because I thought he'd, take his time, get the jab moving, but he just thought that I'm just going to swing it off with this guy. And I just thought that he could get caught in the exchange, and because Kambosos was just teeing off as well. And I just seen Kambosos just let a right hand off, and it's just caught him square on, and he's gone down. And that's when obviously I ran to you. And, I thought that Teofimo was in trouble. I just think that started the bad night for Teofimo. And then moving on, I just think through the middle rounds, Kambosos just was beating Teofimo. He was just more active. Teofimo was very inactive. He wasn't throwing many punches. He was getting outboxed through the middle rounds. It was quite strange from when he got knocked down in the first round. When he went to the corner, his dad was like, "Oh, what are you doing? Get him out of here already!" Like, what? It was quite funny, to be honest, when I was watching, because it's not really like he's been knocked down. Like, it's not really a good advice. I don't know what his dad was thinking, to be honest. I just think he was probably shocked more than anything, because he probably didn't believe that could possibly happen. He probably thought his son was just going to go in and tee off on this guy, and he was just going to lay down.
To be honest, Teofimo Lopez looked quite one-dimensional. He was loading. He was loading up on big shots. Just loading up. There was no real skill there. There was no, jab. There was no like setting up trap. It just looked like you could clearly see what he was trying to do. He was trying to land a big right hand.
Yeah.
And you could see the punches coming. Kambosos was just so much faster than him. And Kambosos obviously had a good chin, and what that showed is you can't get everybody out of there. No, I saw him fight Nakatani, and I thought Nakatani was doing very well and frustrating him outboxing, but Kambosos went even further than that. I wasn't impressed, and it actually now comes back to thinking that was that Lomachenko fight one good performance, or was it Lomachenko was a little off? Was it the fact that we overrated Teo a little bit? Because I actually thought he's a very good boxer and a very good boxer puncher. But actually looking back at that fight now, I'm actually questioning if he is that good a boxer, and is he just a big puncher that looks to load up on big shots? He's sharp, because on that outing, you have to think about it, that he's not really a great boxer, because the way he was loading up on shots, there was no setting any traps or nothing. It was just like you could clearly see what he was trying to do.
Yeah, I just think that it was just like I could see from round one what he was trying to do. He was just trying to switch. He was just loading up on shots. He was just loading up, trying to get him out of there. But the thing is, Kambosos came to fight. Kambosos wasn't going to lay down for anything. And I just think Teo got it all wrong. I just think the way he approached the fight, the way he started the fight, he was just all wrong in his approach. And you're right. I think he's from what I seen today, he looked very one-dimensional. Like, if he can't get that right hand off and get the person out, if it goes 12 rounds, he's going to be struggling if he's fighting a good boxer. Even the Lomachenko fight was quite close. To be honest, it wasn't like it was a walk in the park, but. Yeah, this one, it was really, really bad. Like, he looked very amateurish. He just ran at Kambosos in the first round trying to swing off, and you don't do that as a champion. A champion, he comes out, he tries to, get distance and stuff. He didn't do any of that. He just thought that he'd just come out and blow this guy away. And, you can't take anyone lightly in boxing. It doesn't matter whether it's a mandatory challenger or a guy you're fighting, for a world title. You've got to take every fight just as serious. And tonight proved it that, Lopez probably thought that he's going to nail him in 1-2 rounds, and he's come up short.
What do you make of the fact that he's been inactive for so long? After the Lomachenko win, he's been inactive for ages. There was talk about him struggling to make weight as well. That's been talked about with Lopez for a very long time, because he does struggle to make weight. But on that performance, even if he does go up to 140 and fights like the top guys there, you'd have to say that he'd struggle. Firstly, before we go on to that, what did you make of his post-fight interview saying that he feels like he won 10-2 and he felt he won that fight? What did you make of what he was saying?
I don't believe he really thinks that. I just think he's trying to say that it's just like he can't take defeat. So he's having, like, everyone knows, like, he must know deep down it wasn't 10-2. Like, if he's a boxer, you must know deep down that it wasn't. He's only giving Kambosos the first round when he got dropped. That's the only round he's given to Kambosos, and he's saying that I won all the other 10 rounds, and it was not the case at all through the whole middle of the fight. He was outboxed. He had some success in the 10th round, but apart from that, he had limited success. Don't get me wrong, some of the rounds were close, but he was being edged out in the rounds. And if he thinks he won 10-2, then he needs it. Like, as Kambosos said, he needs a reality check, because, well, he's already got a reality check today, but yeah, he's a bit delusional, to be honest, if that's what he believes. It was a really bad post-fight press conference, and even Dan Rafael, I think, came out and he said no, that he shouldn't have come out and said that it makes him look really bad as a fighter. It's like you don't want people to think you're a sore loser. You don't want that. You rather just take defeat and then bounce back from it.
Problem is that now obviously he hasn't got a rematch clause because this was a mandatory, and Lopez now he's in a tricky spot because George Kambosos doesn't have to fight him again.
No.
He doesn't have to fight him again. Now, I don't know. I know he was the mandatory for the IBF, but I don't know whether the other. From what they say, there's no rematch clause. So George Kambosos could go and fight Devin Haney. George Kambosos can do what he wants. But in terms of Teofimo Lopez, what happens with him? Because we know he's struggling to make 135. He's going to go up to 140 most likely. And he was talking about a Josh Taylor fight. But Josh Taylor's going to be like, what do you bring to
No. Listen, if that's what he believes after losing tonight, he doesn't deserve just going straight up and fighting Josh Taylor. He needs to prove his worth at 140. I think personally the best thing for him to do is to move up to 140. He's not a 135 pounder. He looks massive. He should move up to 140 and work his way up. But I personally think from tonight, he's going to have a lot of competition at 140. Some of those guys at 140 are going to be tough for him. So, yeah, he doesn't just go in straight against Josh Taylor. He needs to work his way up because he's no longer an undisputed champion now. What he used to claim at 135, he's being beaten tonight. So even if he does move up to 135, right? Sorry, 140, he's going to have to prove his worth. He's going to have to beat, the top guys at 140 before Josh Taylor can say that, hey, I'm willing to fight you. And by then, you got to realize Josh Taylor might move up to 147 to fight Crawford. So you got to realize we don't know where Josh Taylor's going to be. But it's either he'll be very lucky if I think George Kambosos said, listen, I'm willing to give you a rematch if you come to Australia. And to me, that's a really good gesture because he doesn't need to give him the rematch, but he's willing to give him the rematch.
I don't think Lopez will go to Australia. See, I thought initially there would be a rematch clause in the contract, but obviously there's not. So George Kambosos can do what he wants, and he'd want that fight in Australia because let's be honest, Kambosos has come to Lopez's backyard and beaten him.
Exactly.
So I think that would be great, and I think Kambosos would actually give him a rematch in Australia because he knows financially that'd be a huge fight for him in Australia. There'd be big money for Kambosos now. Kambosos is going to make a lot of money now, so he could milk it in Australia, and especially that would be huge. That would be huge. So I would like to see Teofimo try, but I don't think he will because I don't think he's going to go to Australia, and I don't think he can make the weight much longer. So I personally think that he's going to move up to 140 and probably look to try to make his name there. But he can, like you said, he can kiss goodbye to the Josh Taylor fight because that ain't happening.
Josh Taylor wasn't even willing to, even though he was undisputed at 135, Josh Taylor wasn't willing to entertain it then.
But is he undisputed at 135?
Who?
Teofimo.
No, because he's lost.
No, I'm saying...
He wasn't anyway.
Devin Haney.
Yeah, exactly, he wasn't. And he was always just saying, Devin Haney, you're an email champion and stuff. But you got to realise, you can't call some of the best fighters in your division email champions. Like George Kambosos, as soon as he'd beaten Lopez, he didn't go on and say, he was like, yeah, if Devin Haney wins, and I want to become undisputed by fighting Devin Haney. So Lopez didn't have that same energy. He beat Lomachenko and just disregarded everyone. He's like, oh, this guy, he's not a very good fighter. He's not on my level. I'm unbeatable. You know, like he acted as if he was the best thing since sliced bread. So this was a bit of a reality check, because the way him and his pops acted, it was like that there was no other fighter that was better than him, which you can't act like that. You've got to take every fight seriously, and he's obviously not taken, well, he's fallen short in this fight. And, you know...
I think they obviously thought they were better than what they were. They underestimated Kambosos. Kambosos was a lot better than what people looked at some of his previous fights. Oh, he's not a big puncher. Oh, he's not this. But Lopez, like I said, his boxing ability was limited here tonight.
And that's what I'm saying, that if he fights someone with boxing ability, like, don't get me wrong, Kambosos showed he could box, but, you know, would you say Kambosos is a better boxer than Devin Haney? Let's really be honest. Like, if Devin Haney was in there tonight, Devin Haney would have boxed his ears off even worse than this. Because he's a natural boxer. Devin Haney's a natural boxer.
Someone like Shakur Stevenson would have boxed his
exactly.
tail off.
Someone that can box and someone that's got a good jab. Don't get me wrong, Kambosos did the job tonight. You can't take that away from him. But everyone knows that Kambosos doesn't have the boxing ability of a Devin Haney or Shakur Stevenson. So, you know, Teofimo was disregarding, I heard an interview, he was disregarding Shakur Stevenson in one interview, but now he can't disregard anyone because he's had his reality check, and, you know, he's got to, I don't know what he's going to do now. He's not going to fight, Devin Haney's not going to want to fight Teofimo, because Devin Haney's going to want to fight Kambosos, because Kambosos beat Teofimo. So Devin Haney's in the who needs him club now. Teofimo Lopez is in the who needs him now, because he's lost. And yeah, it might be that he has to rematch Lomachenko. I don't know what he's going to do. But personally, if I was him moving forward, I would move up to 140, because I don't feel like he can make this weight anymore, and try to do something at 140. But it's going to be very tough, because there's some good names up in that weight, and they're going to be a lot stronger and durable. It's not going to be where he has the success where he just throws a right hand and they fall. You know, sometimes people can take your power. You know, then what do you do?
Kambosos took his power tonight.
That's what I mean. So then, if someone can take your power, then what's your plan B? He didn't have a plan B. He just thought that I'm going to get this guy out. And his dad's not a very good trainer. I'm going to put that out there as well, because his instructions he was giving were very, very poor. Very, very poor. You know, he didn't have no clear, like, he was just like, oh no, come on, get him out of here now. That's not the instructions you give. And he should get a lot of criticism. But yeah, obviously he's lost, and obviously now he's going to have to move forward with his career, probably at 140, but you can't, like, I seen a tweet, like, someone posted, I don't know who it was now, I think it may have been Leonard Ellaby actually, he said that you can't take anyone for granted. You can't just think that, you know, you're going to win every single fight. You've got to prepare diligently for every single opponent, whether it's a mandatory or whether it's, you know, you've got to take fights seriously. And from round one, it just didn't seem like he was taking it. It just seemed like the way he just ran to him, it just seemed so unnatural. It was just like he just was so confident that this guy's just going to get one punch, and just, like, he didn't even, yeah. It was just really strange, to be honest, when I was watching it. I thought, like, him being a champion, he would come out, get behind his jab, but it was nothing like that. It was just, he just wanted to fight. And then obviously once he got hit, then in the middle round he shied away, because he probably thought that if I get hit again, I could get put over again. And I think that's where, I think once he got hit and got put down, I think he lost a lot of confidence from that. Which fighters do lose confidence. When they get hit and get put down, you lose confidence, and he lost confidence in that fight from round one. When he got put down, he was probably thinking that, you know, I can't afford to get hit again like this, because if I go down again, it could be curtains. So I think that's why he probably fought a bit more cautious through the middle rounds, which lost him the rounds, in my opinion. But yeah, you know, it's a reality check, and he needs to move forward now. But I don't think it's going to be tough for him. If he gets a Kambosos rematch, he's a very lucky man, but I don't think he will, personally. I think Kambosos will move on to the winner of Jojo Diaz and Haney.
Yeah, I'd kind of agree. Guys, what did you guys make of it? We've given our thoughts, our opinions. It's a shocker, you know, it's an upset for sure. It's one of those where we weren't expecting it. You know, nobody was expecting George Kambosos to win this fight. But I just think that tells you boxing... What that tells us is boxing is very unpredictable. You know, Lopez may be somebody that believed his own hype. You know, it's maybe a reality check for him that this game is very difficult. Being a year out, when you've got a hungry fighter like George Kambosos, you can't take people for granted in this type of game. And I think Lopez needs to go back to the drawing board, needs to get back down, because this may make him hungry. This could either break you or make you more hungry, because at the end of the day, you know, he's ended up losing now. So he's lost his O. He's not undefeated anymore. So now it's about getting back and showing boxing world that the Lomachenko fight wasn't a one-off. Like, he's got some good wins, Lomachenko, Comey, but, you know, the fact is that, you know, it's not a deep enough resume for us to say, well, this guy was an elite champion or whatever. You know, he's lost it in his first title defense, really.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's basically what it is. So, yeah, leave your thoughts, guys. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. And I'll see you guys in the next video, guys. Peace.